Welcome to Freedom to Fuel, the talk show that will energize how you think about your utilities, brought to you by Huntsville Utilities and the American Public Gas Association. Coming to you from our studio in beautiful downtown Huntsville, Alabama, the best place to live in the whole U.S. of A. I'm Todd Long with the Huntsville Utilities Orchestra, introducing their host, the Colonel, John Olszewski.
Wouldn't you know that our first one we would do in Huntsville would be with all that you just said, the greatest mayor there is. And the mayor told me earlier, he was walking over, he said he wanted to know who's the worst. I said, hell, I don't know, but trust me, they're a lot worse. Anyway, welcome.
Trust me, there's a lot worse. Thank you, John. That's very nice. I'm glad that people look at it that way.
You're number one, and number 199 is a lot worse, right? Because there's somebody out there that doesn't like you, right, Mayor?
There's somebody.
Okay, well, anyway, welcome, Mayor Tommy Battle.
Thank you.
This is cool. We're getting big-time guests now.
Yeah, absolutely.
No offense to our other guests.
See, now we just threw our other people
We had
under the
other
bus.
guests, too, but this is our first.
I'm really proud to be on FTF today.
FTF, Freedom to Fuel. I like that, FTF. You have to remember that.
I do.
So with that said, I've known the mayor for a long time, since 08, 7, 6, maybe somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And you became the mayor in 08.
Right.
So if you do your math real quick, that's 14 years.
14 years ago.
And I was with you for 4 of them.
That's right. You were our council person for the Southern District for 4 years, and I have to say you did a good job, John. You did a good job making sure that that your area was represented, and that that we took care of the things that were important. And I think that's part of your thing in city government is you got to learn how to discern what's important. People bring lots of things to you. You have lots of ideas and lots of different things, and you got to figure out what's really important and what do we really need to hone in on that makes your community a better place. And you did a good job of that.
Well, I always say you only got mad at me once. So I felt like if you only got mad at me once, I did pretty good.
That was a record. Yeah.
So we are in a new place, in a new home, and we had discussions, and we said, can we get the mayor? And I said, I'm sure I can get the mayor. So I don't call the mayor. I call Carol, and Carol makes it happen for me. And I asked Carol to get the mayor on here because we're a booming town, a booming city. It's doing a lot of great things.
Sure. And
we tell us a little bit about, just ballpark us about your growth since you took over in 08 and where we are today, just some ballpark big numbers, and I know you got
gosh, when you look at it, we've added about 30,000 jobs in the last decade. We started off in 2010. We did the census, and we were 180,000 people. Today, we're sitting about 225, somewhere around there. We're a growing city, and we're going to continue to grow. The biggest challenge we have is workforce development, which means you're looking for workers to fill the jobs that you've already brought into the area, and it's a great problem to have. And so we work very hard on that, on recruiting people to our area. Quality of life, making sure that you have a great quality of life, because people like to work 8 hours, but then they like to have something else to do for those other 16 hours a day. When you put it all together, it's kind of a recipe or a strategy and a plan to how to make a city into something that people want to be a part of.
I would think, and I'm terrible at math, so I don't know this for sure, but with the rate of growth that we're seeing here, we have to be one of the largest growing cities in the Southeast, I would think.
We're definitely one of the largest growing cities in the state of Alabama, and we have some competition out there. But those places are also growing, and it's nice to be in that club of growing places. Growing just means that you're offering opportunity. When I first came into office, we were missing that middle segment of jobs. We had great entry-level jobs. We had great jobs on the upper end where rocket scientists and aerojet engineers and others were working, in a very much a white-collar crowd was working. But we didn't have anything in that middle ground. And so, we had some lower socioeconomic areas that would look at us and say, hey, listen, I'm not part of Huntsville's prosperity. I'm not part of what has happened in Huntsville. And we started working on advanced manufacturing. And we landed our first one, which was Remington, our second one, which was Polaris, 2,000 jobs, $300 million worth of investment.
And I'll say this right now. I'm a Huntsville utility guy, but Mayor has a phenomenal staff.
Yeah.
And you have some great leaders that have done some great things, and they bought into this world. But change gears on you a little bit. I'd like to I talked to you a little bit about our theme this year is Freedom to Fuel.
Sure.
And I was
FTF.
Yes, sir, FTF. I like the FTF. I'm going to have to use that when we go to Savannah. We want freedom to pick whatever you want.
Sure.
You want to pick solar, great, windmill, great, natural gas, great. Just don't tell us we have to electrify. All that to say, was it a good deal for you to have the ability for us to do natural gas for the Mazda?
Oh yeah, I mean you've got to, there's no one energy source that's gonna fill all the needs of what we have today. I mean you've got to have all energy sources, and and Mazda Toyota has 4,000 direct jobs, then has a supplier park, 16 suppliers around them, who has another 2,400 jobs, so 6,400 jobs added to the area. And those jobs are middle-class jobs, so it means that somebody who maybe is down in that lower end and entry-level area, they can move up and get a better job. They can, you can make between $40,000 and $60,000 a year with a GED, and it's a great thing for your community because it means that everybody can be part of Huntsville's success.
Well, we couldn't agree more.
I don't see where we would be today if we didn't have a utility service that was broad range and provided us all the services that you provide.
And then you have states like, and of course California is the one that always pops to mind in most people's minds, that they have these very restrictive, they are trying to, electrify everything, ban fossil fuels. They don't even want to sell gas-powered cars after a certain point.
Yeah.
And cities like Huntsville and areas predominantly in the South are reaping the benefits of, in what, in my opinion, is a misguided energy policy.
Yeah. And I read about, some of the, I guess the elite states or whatever they want to call them, East Coast and West Coast, which are trying to force things on you. And you find real quick in government that when you try to force something in there, you're trying to push something that doesn't need to be pushed. You need to educate, Right. As we educate people about the strength of having solar and why you need to have solar and can solar take care of all those problems, all of a sudden you realize there's a big gap in there. When the sun's out, you got solar. When the sun's not out, you don't have solar. If you want wind turbines to power your city, that's great when the wind's blowing, but when it's not blowing, you got a little problem there, So you need all sources. You need the gas. You need the, you need the nuclear, which we have, which I think is very important. It's one of the cleanest forms of energy. You need all forms of energy coming into your community to power that community.
The mayor has definitely spoke to the FTF very well, wouldn't you say, Todd?
I would think so, and I think part of it too.
Free the fuels. You could start a protest movement. Free the fuels, and you could be out there with signs and everything. Yeah, and then have sell tattoos. I mean, there's a marketing plan in this thing.
Well, I will tell you this. You said it so many times, and I just got to double tap it again. What I'm proud about of our city, I'm proud of Madison County and all of northern Alabama, is 14, 16 years ago when they were fussing about we couldn't bring the youth here. Mm-hmm. And if the youth comes today, and I'm saying youth in their 20s and 30s, there's something to do every night. Think about this area now. And, how about that amphitheater you built? Oh, my goodness gracious. I'm getting guys calling me from all over the world asking me about that.
I'm going to see Stevie Nicks Halloween night at the amphitheater, so that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. But, you've got the amphitheater, but you also have, Rhythm on Monroe and the Mars Music Hall, which is going to have 100 shows a year. And the Mars Music Hall has, is for the up-and-comers coming in. They up-and-comers come in. So, I mean, the music scene has really proven out very well here. Minor league soccer will open up next fall. Double-A baseball, we're in the playoffs right now to win Double-A baseball, the league championships this year.
A couple other things that I jotted down in some of our discussions here. Like we said a second ago, we live in a very natural gas-friendly state.
Sure.
You're more plugged into state politics than we are. Is there any reason to think somewhere down the road that may change? I mean, I would say we're one of the more friendly natural gas states in the country.
I don't see a reason why you wouldn't. I mean, environmentally, natural gas is a great use for power. But if you look at an overall cost on it, it is very competitive with any other form of energy that we have, and it doesn't have a huge upfront capital cost like some of the others have. And there's not a, you don't have that glitch in it. Some of them you have a glitch. You got to wait for the sun to come out. You got to wait for the wind to blow. You got to wait for this or that to happen. So, natural gas is a great, steady source of power for years and years to come.
And the other thing that some of us were talking about, and this, you may not know the answer to this, is maybe
Sure.
too far down the road, but Huntsville being the size city it is, we have all kinds of fleets. We have a sanitation department with a huge fleet, school buses, our public transit system, and a lot of cities are looking at natural gas powered vehicles for that kind of thing. Might that be something that might be in Huntsville?
We're already looking for it for our mass transit system, our bus system. We're looking at natural gas for that. We're in kind of a unique position in Huntsville. All the gasoline that comes up here is transported from south of Birmingham. It all comes in tanker trucks. So you just got to think about the environmental charge of loading a tanker truck, bringing it all the way up here, letting it drop off a load, then going back, and then bringing up another load and coming back and forth. When you have that much movement, it can't be environmentally friendly to do that. So, and all you got to do is turn the spigot on with natural gas, and you've got the natural gas right there, and you've already paid for that infrastructure.
We also, our staffs are talking, and I'm sure they briefed the mayor on it, but our staffs are talking about landfill and water pollution control with the ability to take some of the
methane coming off of it,
and arguably, and I do know what I'm talking about on this one. That is the cleanest of all, because there's no the beginning phases.
Even your sewer system, your sewer plants, the methane coming off of that can be used to power something. So if you can capture all elements of that, you've really done a great job to be sustainable on Earth.
Well, when it's all said and done, obviously we're open-minded in this town. You haven't said the word no to anything we've talked about today, which is nice, because a lot of times first thing you hear out of anybody in a leadership role is no, and you allow us to you allow us, so does Wes, allows us to think out of the box, come to you with new ideas, which is critical when you're trying to be the best there is. So I believe we got a good show.
This has been really great.
And Mayor, we thank you for. I know you probably don't hear this enough, but I'm gonna say it again. We appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
We are blessed to have you as our mayor. Yes, you give me a hard time, but I know if I call you, you're going to take care of business. You're going to help me. You're going to help my company. You're going to help my outfit. You'll even help Sharon down to the neighborhood store if she needs help.
That's our job.
So thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Freedom to Fuel is produced by Huntsville Utilities in cooperation with the American Public Gas Association. The views expressed by the host and guests do not necessarily reflect those of HU or the APGA. Our audiovisual engineer is Amanda Tomczyk-Kemp, with additional production elements provided by Jeffrey Long. If you have a comment or question, post it in the comments below. And until next time, remember, the freedom to fuel is only natural.